Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here today. I want to speak to the part of you that's tired, not just physically, but mentally and spiritually. The part of you that's been pulled in every direction, expected to please everyone, to keep up appearances, and to explain your every move. Today, prioritizing inner growth is one of the most powerful and transformative decisions a person can make. In a world that constantly demands our attention, encourages comparison, and rewards external achievement, it's easy to lose sight of what truly matters, what's happening within us. Inner growth is not about perfection or impressing others. It's about becoming more self-aware, emotionally resilient, spiritually grounded, and mentally strong. It's about nurturing the parts of yourself that the world doesn't see so you can live with more clarity, peace, and purpose. When you choose to focus on your inner growth, you begin to realize that your real power lies in how you respond to life, not in how life treats you. Challenges become lessons. Delays become moments of reflection. Pain becomes a teacher. Every experience, whether joyful or difficult, becomes an opportunity to learn more about who you are and how you can rise above your circumstances. This shift in mindset is what separates people who are constantly shaken by life from those who are rooted, calm, and unbothered by chaos. Inner growth also teaches you to stop outsourcing your worth. You no longer rely on praise, attention, or validation to feel good about yourself. Instead, you begin to build a quiet confidence that isn't loud or boastful, but solid and unwavering. You know who you are, and you don't need to prove it. This self-assurance becomes your foundation. It gives you the strength to set boundaries, walk away from toxicity, and say no to things that don't align with your values, even if they're popular or tempting. As you grow internally, your priorities begin to shift. You stop chasing things that don't feed your soul. You stop wasting time trying to impress people who don't truly matter. You become more intentional about your time, your energy, and your relationships. You find joy and simplicity, peace and solitude, and fulfillment in progress. Inner growth teaches you that it's not about having more, it's about being more present, more patient, more disciplined, more grateful. There's also a spiritual element to inner growth. You start to trust that there's a deeper purpose behind everything you experience. You become more in tune with your intuition, your faith, and your inner guidance. This connection helps you navigate life with more grace. Even when you don't have all the answers, you begin to feel secure knowing that you are being shaped into someone stronger, wiser, and more aligned with your destiny. But inner growth requires work. It requires honesty. You have to confront your fears, unlearn toxic patterns, and hold yourself accountable. It's not always easy, and it's definitely not always glamorous. But the results speak for themselves. You begin to feel lighter, freer, and more in control of your emotions. You stop reacting to every little thing because you've learned how to respond from a place of awareness, not impulse. You stop living for the crowd and start living in alignment with your truth. In a noisy world that's always demanding more of you, choosing inner growth is a radical act. It's a commitment to yourself, a promise that you will keep showing up, even on the days when no one claps for you, even when progress is slow, even when no one notices, because you know that the most valuable changes are the ones that happen within. When you prioritize inner growth, you don't just change your life, you change who you are in your life, and that changes everything. Silence is often misunderstood. In a world where loudness is associated with power, dominance, and success, silence can seem weak or passive. But true strength doesn't always need to be announced. In fact, some of the most powerful people are the quietest in the room. Silence is not the absence of action or voice. It's the presence of self-control, awareness, and inner peace. When you learn to embrace silence, you discover a form of strength that goes far deeper than words or noise. Silence is strength because it shows discipline. In a moment when you could react, argue, defend, or attack, choosing silence takes immense self-control. It takes strength to not respond to negativity. It takes strength to not chase validation. It takes strength to sit with your thoughts instead of running from them. When you're silent, you're not being passive. You're being intentional. You're choosing to protect your energy instead of wasting it on people or situations that don't deserve it. When you are silent, you listen more. You observe more. You learn more. Instead of being caught up in the need to be heard, you develop the ability to understand. This awareness allows you to move smarter, make better decisions, and avoid unnecessary drama. People who constantly speak may seem confident, but often it's a cover for insecurity. On the other hand, those who move quietly tend to do so because they are sure of themselves. They don't need approval or attention. They know their worth. And that confidence doesn't require a stage. Silence is also a form of preparation. Think about nature. A storm builds in silence before it strikes. The most meaningful transformations often happen in silence, away from the spotlight. That's how real change begins. When you stop announcing every step, when you stop broadcasting your goals, you give yourself space to work without pressure. You give yourself time to develop quietly, so that when you do arrive, you arrive ready, strong, and undeniable. There's also a deep kind of peace that comes with mastering silence. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself to everyone. You don't waste energy on arguments that go nowhere. You learn that peace is more valuable than proving a point. You start choosing calm over chaos, reflection over reaction. And in doing so, you protect your mind, your spirit, and your focus. That's not weakness, that's wisdom. Silence helps you connect with yourself. When you step away from the noise, social media, gossip, distractions, you begin to hear your own voice again. You reconnect with your intuition, your purpose, your vision. You begin to trust yourself more. You start making decisions not based on what others think, but based on what feels right deep inside. That level of clarity is powerful. It keeps you grounded in a world that constantly tries to pull you in every direction. But silence is not about cutting everyone off or shutting down. It's about choosing when and how to speak. It's about knowing that not everything requires a response. It's about speaking with intention, not out of habit. It's about reserving your energy for what truly matters. When you understand this, you stop wasting time on battles that don't deserve your attention. You become unshakable, focused, and more in control of your life. Real strength is quiet. It's not in how loud you are. It's in how still you can be when the world tries to shake you. It's in the way you carry yourself when no one is watching. Silence, when chosen wisely, is not weakness. It's power, purity, and poise. It's the mark of someone who knows who they are and doesn't need the world to confirm it. In a society driven by appearance, performance, and constant broadcasting, there's something incredibly powerful about letting your results speak for you. We live in an age where people feel the need to announce every move, every plan, every goal. But the truth is, talking about success isn't the same as achieving it. Words can create hype, but results reveal the truth. When you let your actions speak louder than your voice, you command a different kind of respect, the kind that doesn't fade with trends or opinions. Letting results speak for you means staying focused on the work instead of the applause. It's easy to get caught up in impressing others with potential. It feels good to be praised for intentions, to be seen grinding, to be complimented for effort. But none of that builds the life you want. What truly counts is what you finish, not just what you start. When you stop explaining yourself and start executing consistently, your results begin to do all the talking for you. You don't need to convince anyone, you just show up and show proof. This mindset builds credibility. People may question your silence at first. They may wonder what you're doing or why you're not sharing every detail. But when your growth becomes visible, when your results start to show, those same people begin to pay attention differently. They recognize something real, something earned, something undeniable. That kind of power doesn't come from boasting. It comes from being relentless behind the scenes, from keeping promises to yourself, from staying focused while others are distracted. Letting your results speak also protects your energy. Talking too much about your plans can often invite unnecessary opinions, doubts, and discouragement. Not everyone needs to know your next move. Some people don't want to see you win, and others will project their fears onto your path. But when you keep things private and let your success reveal itself naturally, move in peace. You move with clarity, free from noise, and that allows you to stay in alignment with your purpose. There's a certain confidence that grows when you stop needing validation. When you no longer rely on applause, you become unstoppable. You stop asking, "What will they think?" and start asking, "What needs to be done?" That shift in focus from performance to progress frees you. You stop being a performer and start being a builder. You don't seek to be impressive. You seek to be effective. And in the end, that's what makes the difference. Another powerful part of letting your results speak is that it humbles you. You realize it's not about proving people wrong. It's about proving yourself right. You don't need to fight every critic or respond to every doubt. You just stay consistent, and in time, your life becomes the evidence. The transformation, the success, the strength, the peace. It all becomes visible, and that visibility carries more weight than any argument ever could. This isn't about staying quiet out of fear. It's about choosing to operate from strength. It's about understanding that when you really believe in what you're building, you don't need to market it every day. You're too busy doing the work. And when the time is right, the results will speak for themselves. Clearly, confidently and loudly. So stay silent, stay humble, and stay locked in. Let others chase attention. You chase excellence. Let them talk. You keep working. In the end, results are louder than words, and yours will speak volumes. Avoiding external validation is one of the most liberating steps you can take on your journey to personal growth and true confidence. From a young age, we're conditioned to seek approval. Grades in school, likes on social media, compliments from others. Slowly, almost without realizing it, our sense of worth becomes tied to what people think of us. But here's the truth. As long as you rely on external validation to feel good about yourself, you will always be at the mercy of someone else's opinion. When you live for approval, you give people control over your emotions. A single compliment can lift you up, but a single criticism can tear you down. That kind of dependency is fragile. It makes you second-guess your choices, doubt your progress, and hold back your voice just to avoid disapproval. You begin shaping your life not around your values, but around other people's expectations. And in trying to please everyone, you slowly lose sight of who you really are. Avoiding external validation doesn't mean you stop caring about people. It means you stop needing their praise to feel valuable. It's about reclaiming your sense of worth and realizing that it doesn't have to come from anyone else. True confidence comes from knowing yourself, your strengths, your flaws, your journey, and choosing to stand firm in that, regardless of whether the world applauds or not. It's waking up in the morning and knowing you are enough, even if no one says it. This shift in mindset allows you to take real ownership of your life. When you're no longer driven by the need to be liked, you make choices based on purpose, not popularity. You take risks that align with your dreams, even if they don't make sense to others. You set boundaries, even if it makes people uncomfortable. You stop chasing temporary approval and start building lasting fulfillment. That's not arrogance, that's self-respect. That's a reason that so many experts say that success lies in your highest good. Productivity gives you the ability to grow and achieve. Avoiding external validation also frees you from comparison. When you're constantly measuring your life against someone else's highlight reel, it's easy to feel behind, unworthy, or invisible. But when you validate yourself from within, you start running that race. You realize that your journey is your own, and it doesn't have to look like anyone else's. You start finding joy in your own pace, your own progress, and your own path. This kind of inner freedom takes time to build. It requires self-awareness, discipline, and courage. It means facing the parts of you that feel insecure and asking, why do I need their approval? Then, slowly, patiently, you start replacing that need with your own voice. You affirm yourself. You celebrate your own wins, no matter how small. You hold yourself accountable, not because someone is watching, but because you know what you're capable of. And yes, it might feel uncomfortable at first. People might not understand your silence. They might question your decisions. But that's okay, because every time you choose to stand firm in your truth, without needing applause, you grow stronger. Every time you keep going despite not being seen, you build deeper confidence. Eventually, your sense of peace becomes more important than being liked. Your purpose becomes louder than their opinions. The most powerful people don't need the world to clap for them. They've already clapped for themselves. They've already done the inner work. And as a result, they move differently. They speak with intention, act with integrity, and live with freedom. That's what happens when you stop living for approval and start living for alignment. You don't just feel better, you become unstoppable. Embracing the power of quiet work is a mindset shift that separates those who only dream from those who actually build. In a world that celebrates loud achievements, constant updates, and public progress, quiet work is often overlooked. But beneath the surface of every powerful transformation, there is a season of silence, a time when no one is watching, no one is clapping, and yet everything is being built. Quiet work is where the real growth happens. It's where character is formed, discipline is sharpened, and success takes root. Quiet work means showing up consistently, even when it's not glamorous. It's waking up early to grind while others sleep, staying late to finish what you started, and choosing focus over distraction. There's no spotlight, there's no praise, but that's what makes it powerful. Because when you do the work in silence, you're not doing it for recognition. You're doing it because you believe in your mission. You're doing it because the vision matters more than the attention. In this space of quiet effort, you learn to rely on your own motivation, not external encouragement. You develop mental toughness because you don't have an audience cheering you on every step of the way. You become your own coach, your own hype, your own accountability. That kind of self-reliance creates an inner strength that no one can take from you. You stop needing noise because you found your rhythm in the silence. Quiet work also builds trust in yourself. When you commit to the process without needing to announce it, you create evidence for your own confidence. Every time you show up, even when no one's watching, you're proving to yourself that you're dependable, that you can keep going, that you're not driven by attention, but by purpose. And that's a different level of power because it's not dependent on anyone else. It's rooted in who you are becoming. There's also a unique sense of peace in working quietly. Without the pressure of performing for others, you get to focus purely on the craft. You're not caught up in impressing people. You're focused on improving yourself. There's less comparison, less distraction, and more presence. You begin to fall in love with the process itself. The small wins start to matter. The progress, though unseen by others, starts to feel deeply satisfied because you know what you're building. You know where it's leading. People may not notice your quiet season right away. They may wonder where you've gone or what you're doing. But when the results start to show, they'll realize something powerful was happening the whole time. That's the beauty of quiet work. It doesn't need hype. It doesn't need validation. It just delivers. When the time is right, the work you did in silence will speak for you louder than any words ever could. Quiet work is a form of self-respect. It's the commitment to growth without performance. It's the discipline to keep building when it's hard, keep pushing when it's lonely, and keep believing when it's silent. It's what separates the temporary from the lasting, the flashy from the foundational, the talkers from the doers. So don't be discouraged if your work isn't getting attention yet. Don't give up because no one sees the effort. Stay low, stay focused, embrace the grind that no one applauds. because that's where your future is being shaped. The power of quiet work isn't in who notices now, it's in what you become later. And when your moment comes, the world will see what you've been building all along. Rising above the noise means choosing clarity over chaos, purpose over pressure, and focus over distraction. In today's world, there is constant noise, opinions flying from every direction, people broadcasting their lives, criticism from strangers, comparison on every scroll. It's loud, overwhelming, and often discouraging. If you're not careful, you can get lost in it. You can lose your voice trying to compete, your peace trying to please, and your vision trying to keep up. But the ones who truly succeed, the ones who stay grounded and row with intention, are the ones who learn how to rise above it all. They're relieving to look at focus, rising above it all. You rise above the noise by not rising of it. Learn above it means learning how to keep your peace while others are loud. It means letting your goals speak louder than your need to explain. It means valuing your inner stillness more than outer approval. In a world obsessed with being seen, rising above the noise also means being okay with being unseen for a while. You don't have to post every win. You don't have to prove your worth in captions or conversations. There is something powerful about working in silence while the world is distracted. You're not moved by trends or opinions. You're moved by purpose. That kind of focus is rare, and it's what sets you apart. You rise above the noise by knowing who you are. When you have a strong sense of self, you don't get pulled into every drama or distracted by every detour. You're not defined by other people's expectations. You're not shaken by their praise or broken by their judgment. You know your values, your mission, your vision, and that keeps you steady even when the world around you is spinning. Self-awareness becomes your anchor in the storm of outside voices. It also means rising above your own internal noise. Sometimes the loudest voice isn't outside, it's inside. The self-doubt, the fear, the overthinking. Rising above that means learning to quiet your mind, challenge your limiting beliefs, and replace them with truth. It means not allowing your emotions to control your direction. You pause, breathe, reflect, and then move with intention. You rise above the noise by mastering your own inner world. You'll find that when you stop giving energy to noise, your clarity improves. You stop wasting time. You stop chasing things that don't align with who you're becoming. You gain the power to say no to distractions and yes to what truly matters. Your mind becomes sharper. Your path becomes clear. You start doing more of what matters, not what impresses. Rising above the noise is not about being better than anyone. It's about being better than the chaos around you. It's about choosing stillness when everyone else is panicking, choosing discipline when others are distracted, and choosing faith when others are doubting. It's leadership. It's maturity. It's wisdom in action. And yes, it takes strength. It takes courage to walk your own path while others question it. It takes resilience to keep going when no one claps for you. But when you rise above the noise, you discover a kind of freedom most people never experience. You stop living for noise and you start living for meaning. Let them talk. Let the world be loud. You stay focused. You stay true. And you ask for protection.